And then I'm gonna go into setup mode. So we're gonna switch gears, go into setup, but we are all good to go now. We're gonna set it up and then we'll pop the last little cover on at the end, but we're gonna go into setup mode. Okay, so in this setup, I've got it set up like this is the very first device you're adding. So this is the very first time you're setting up your Ring system is how we're gonna go through this process, okay? So you're gonna hit setup Ring device, click doorbells, and then you're gonna go in through the process of setting it up. It's gonna ask you for access to your camera because you need to scan a QR code which gives you the unique identifier for the device you're trying to set up. So you can find that on the device itself, on the box, and it also comes with a little card that you're going to scan it. We're just going to scan a little card that's going to give us our QR code, and it's going to add that device to our system, okay? Now, once you scan it, the next thing it's going to ask you is going to ask you what location do you want. Now, right now, we don't have any location set up, so we're going to set up a location. After you do this the first time, it's just going to ask you what location do you want. The reason you would have multiple locations, let's say you have a vacation property or rentals or something like that where you have Ring cameras set up, you can have multiple locations, okay? So the first time we have to go through the process, add our address in and get it all set up. After this, you're just gonna choose the location that you wanna set it up in. So once you get your location set up, you're just gonna say continue, get all your information in. It's gonna ask you to verify the address. You're gonna say confirm. And then after you confirm your address, it's going to say, all right, so what do you want to call this doorbell? So where is it at? Is it in the front door, back door of the office? Do you want a custom name? So we're going to say front. And now it's going to ask you, and again, this is only going to happen the first time, do you want to set up extra security for your Ring account? I highly recommend doing this. I highly recommend setting up a two-step verification because if someone tries to access your system to make changes, it's going to have to go through your phone to verify those changes. So I highly recommend, I know it can be a pain in the butt sometimes having two-step verification set up, but I highly recommend adding two-step verification to your Ring system just because we're talking about security here. So you want the maximum security that you can have, not only as you're monitoring your house, but you also want the software to be secure. So yes, go ahead and set up two-factor authentication. We're going to set that up, get it all set up. And again, you're only doing this the first time. So once you set all this up the first time, you don't have to do it again. So we're going to go ahead, set up a password for our two-factor authentication, get that set up. Then it's going to send codes to our phone number to verify the phone number. Then once we have all our verification set up, it's going to say successful. And now you're set up with that extra layer of security. So when you're adding devices, it also has an extra layer of security on it as well. So if someone tries to go in and try to change something on your system, let's say they just got access to your system, you have that two-factor authentication set up and you're good. That's it. That's all you got to do to set up your camera, get everything set up. And if you want to add another device, you would be in that process now where you add another device. But you are good to go. Your camera is set up on the system. So let's go through the next step and just talk about accessing the app and using the app to access the camera. All right, let's go ahead and access the Ring app. I'll pop in here. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you just a brief overview of some of the features in the Ring app, but if you want to get a full-on overview of how to get the best out of the setups and things like that within the Ring app, I got a video for that, the Ring overview app video, so just check that video out. But I just want to give you just a little bit, but the main focus here is to show you how to access your camera and utilize your camera here in this first setup for the Ring doorbell cam. So the first, we're going to start in the top left. You have your menu up there, and then you're going to have your location. So if you have multiple locations, so people that have rentals and things like that, you can have multiple locations set up. Then we're going to cruise over the little moon right there. That's a snooze for all your Ring cameras. So if you wanted to snooze all your cameras at one time, you could use that and snooze everything at the same time. And then the other one is the request help. So if you wanted to go to request, and I actually want to click on this one. If you want to request help immediately or just sound the siren, let's say you walk in the house, you see something crazy, you got your phone in your hand, you can go right to this and you can request help immediately. And I think that's real important to utilize that, where you can request help immediately if you need it. I'll click on the snooze just so you guys see it. There's the snooze, so you can snooze it for how many times, how long you want. And like I said, there's the menu, so you have your menu right there as well. All right, this next section, if you have monitoring turned on, that's this next section. So I have my disarm, home feature, or away. So that's your alarm features that you have if you have monitoring or alarm system monitor. That's that section. The next section is your shortcuts. So you've got shortcuts in there so you can go through. I've got my lock as the first feature. So when I pull up the app, usually if I'm unlocking the door, like if I'm in the car or something like that, I want that to be the first thing I see. So I've got that set up first. Then I can go to my alarm. I can see my history. So that's how I've got that section set up. And then this next section is your cameras. So you got all your cameras. So if you have more than one camera, you're going to have all those cameras listed here. And you can show different views. So right now I just got them stacked on top of each other. But I can show them in a row too. So if I have more cameras, I can show them like that. And if I go down, I've got Discover. So it'll give you different things. They're always upgrading this app, always adding features all the time. So I love that about the Ring device. So it's pretty cool there. So let's go back to cameras. And we know this section right here, I named my camera front door. And I actually wanted to do this at night because I wanted you guys to see how good the night vision is on these Ring cameras. And that's my front door. If you look at my backyard camera, you can see again, the night cam looks fantastic. I mean, it really shows a really good picture at night. So you don't have to worry about, man, am I going to be able to see stuff at night? You're definitely going to be able to see stuff at night. It does a really good job as a night vision. All right, so if we go over these three little dots right here, that's going to be where we can go in here and we can actually look at our settings for the camera. So we've got three things there. We can snooze just this camera. So remember that top snooze were for all the cameras. This snooze, we can snooze just this camera. So let's say you're in the front door or somebody's at the front door, you're out there talking or something like that, you can just snooze this camera for a certain amount of time. The underneath that is the settings, and then you can just cancel and get out of this menu. But we're going to go back and we're going to go into settings. And here's all the settings. So we're not going to go through all these, but I do have a video set up that breaks down all of these features within the menu for your Ring doorbell, because it's a lot to put in this one video. So I wanted to separate and give you just a video that breaks down all these different features. All I want to talk to you about is just a couple of features right here. So let's look at this top section. That's your notifications. So your Ring alerts, if someone rings the doorbell, you're going to get an alert for that. That's what that first one is. Motion detection. If the motion goes off and it senses motion, you're going to get an alarm for that. That's what that second one is. Now, what's the difference between your motion detection and your motion alerts? You can actually set up different zones where you can have motion alerts in those different zones. So that's what the motion alerts, because it can alert you to the different zones. Now, if you only have one zone set up, you're just going to get an alert for that zone. But you can set up multiple zones that can go off. So that's the difference between those two. And then you've got right there underneath that section, so all your notifications, right underneath that, you've got live view, where I can pop right in and see the live view on my camera. And then I can also scroll in there. So I want to just hit live view for a minute, and it's going to take me in. It's going to activate the live view. So now I'm looking at the camera live, and you can scroll through your timeline right here as well. So any motion, that's me going in and out of the house. We can go back during the day. So you can see how that camera looks in the daytime too. And then you can turn it so you can go to widescreen as well. So if I go to live, I'm going to click on actual live right here. I'm going to turn my camera, and now I'm in live view, but I want you to see where the phone is. This is where you could talk to people. So if I wanted to talk to somebody right now, I would just hit that little green phone button, and I could talk to somebody outside my door. So if somebody rings your bell, you're in the house, you're doing something, or if you're away, you can just start talking to them right here just by hitting that green button. And then obviously the red one, you can just hang up. You can also, if you just want to listen, you can hit the little speaker right there and you can just listen to the audio outside. So that's how you're going to access, and you need to do that through the live view is where you're going to do that feature at. And then I'm just going to pop out of here. Just going to close that. And I'm going to go all the way back out. If you just want to go to that setting where I go into the camera again, all you have to do is click on the picture for the camera, and it'll pop me back to exactly where I was just at. So you can go in there and you can pop in and you can see the camera. And from here, I can access the menu as well, where we had all those settings with the little gear, the top right. And I can get to all those settings again. So I can go to live view and pop into the camera from here. Or if I go back out all the way to the front of the menu, I can click just on the image itself and pop into the camera. So that's it. That's how you're going to access your camera, and you can go through, you can look at the footage. If somebody's at the front door, you can access it. You can talk to them. You can listen to the front door, eavesdrop on your kids. Just kidding. Just want to throw that out there though. But you can definitely access that camera. Ring makes it really easy for you. So that's how, just a quick overview of how you're going to access your camera through the Ring app. Really love how Ring has got this set up. And like I said, they're always tweaking it, always adding new features, making it really easy. Check out the other video that I have that breaks down all of those settings and everything for your Ring doorbell cam. Check that out. You'll get some really good tips in how to really set this thing up for success. All right, so there it is, the Ring doorbell. Got it all installed, got everything working. Ring makes it really simple. They give you the tools and the hardware to get this thing installed. Easy DIY process. The app, easy to navigate, easy to go through and get everything set up. I love how Ring really does it. So if you're looking for a DIY alarm system and you want to start the process of monitoring, Ring is definitely the way to go. I love how they do it. I love how they are always expanding the app and adding different tools and things. So think about that. If you're trying to monitor your front porch, stop porch pirates and things like that, Ring is definitely a good solution. This is Daniil Lanier. I got more reviews, more DIY, more how-tos, and of course, cool motivation coming at you. I'm out. Deuces.